Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon-Tony. I'm told a truck accident in Missouri led to the escape of 13 cattle.
Tony Kornheiser, I saw that. It's a lead story on MooTube. I sort of like that, MooTube.
Yeah.
I don't think that's funny. I think that's funny.
Speaking of escape, you see these videos where people are so dumb, they stand in front of like moose and they're taking selfies and the moose just plows and bam! It doesn't try to go after him anymore. It's a lesson. It's a brushback bitch.
You know why?
Because
that's what moose do.
That's
what they
do.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Heisman gets handed out on Saturday. The NFL has some big matchups on Sunday, and Lane Kiffin has his return date to Ole Miss. But we begin today with last night's Thursday game, in which the Atlanta Falcons scored 15 points in the last 9:37 of the game and beat Tampa Bay 29-28, knocking Tampa Bay out of first place in that division and making Todd Bowles very angry. Let's watch and listen.
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You gotta care enough where it hurts. You gotta care enough where it hurts. It gotta mean something to you. It's more than a job. It's your livelihood. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. There's no excuse for it. It's what you tell them in the locker, even in the mirror.
Did you kids all get that? Bowles went on to say the coaches have done all they can and the players need to hold each other accountable. Wilbon, are you okay with Bowles blaming his players for last night's loss?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it may be true, first of all. And then, but there are three, my entire reaction to this is built around, like you and I, decades in locker rooms and decades with coaches, not only in that moment, but then we got to listen to them later. When they calmed down a little bit and you knew there were three possible results. One, you get to them and they immediately flip their behavior 180 and they bring it. Two, they hate you and you lose the locker room entirely. Three, management fires you. So as long...
2 out of the 3 aren't good.
No.
2 out of the 3.
Am I wrong on this?
No, you're not wrong.
And you got to accept the consequences, and he does.
So, okay. I have been around Todd Bowles a lot, going back to when he played here in Washington, D.C. I never saw anything like that. He wasn't screaming or anything. He was hating his players. That was the kind of moment that if you had asked Todd Bowles, as they once asked another Tampa Bay coach, John McKay, how do you feel about your players' execution, he would have answered in the affirmative.
Yes.
Look, this was a really bad loss. Tampa Bay has had a bunch of really bad losses this year. They were up 14 in the fourth quarter at home. They didn't give up 2 scores. They gave up 3 scores.
Against a team that has been maybe the most disappointing team in the league
whole year.
This year.
Yeah. The defense of Tampa Bay allowed a 4th and 14. Atlanta somehow converted a 3rd and 28 into a first down, and Kirk Cousins looked like he did 10 and 12 years ago. So do you understand that Atlanta had 19 penalties and still won the game? That's a bad loss.
Turnovers that weren't turnovers
That's a bad
because
loss.
They should have been recovered by Tampa, loose balls, where like 6 players were around and they didn't get them.
They can win the division.
By beating Carolina twice.
You beat Carolina twice. Now, I wouldn't bet on them today.
No.
But if you beat Carolina twice, you win the division.
Todd Bowles is somebody we like, and as you said, have known for a long time. I root for him. Do we think this is going to work, or do we think he's going to wind up wearing not the creamsicle, but something else next year?
So let me ask you. Let me show you this. That says at the bottom, question. You think Todd Bowles will coach this team next year? I don't know.
It's got to work, right?
Yes. I don't know.
It's got to work. Man. Let's move to this weekend's eye-catching NFL games. The AFC East leading Patriots host Josh Allen and the division rival Bills. One-headed quarterback Justin Herbert leads his Chargers into Kansas City, where the Chiefs are in desperation mode. The NFC Central leading Cheeseheads are at the AFC West leading Broncos, and the 10-3 Rams host the 8-5 Lions. Tony, which game intrigues you the most this weekend?
If I'm going to be honest here, I'm going to tell you that the game that intrigues me the most is Seattle and the Colts. Because I don't believe that a 44-year-old quarterback, Phillip Rivers, is actually going to play that game. If he plays that game, I'm going to watch. You know how I'm going to watch, Mike? Like you're watching a horror
movie.
Yeah, I'm going to put my hand in front of my face, but I'm going to watch. So the two games to me that seem the most important to me are the Bills at New England and the Rams and the Lions. The Bills, to me, if Buffalo beats New England in New England, it conjures up two images to me. One is that the Bills could actually finally go to the Super Bowl. Because Baltimore and Kansas City don't seem to be on that road. Don't seem to be on that road. And the second thing it would say to me is that the Patriots really have had an easy schedule. They're 11-2. They have only beaten three teams that right now have a winning record. So, I mean, to me, that would be consequential. The Bills may not win the division, but you would think they were better. The other game can be really critical. If the Lions lose that game, they are likely out of the playoffs. That would surprise me, Mike, because I think that they are a possible juggernaut. But what is true is that the whole of that team is not as good as the sum of the parts. It's not, doesn't exceed the sum of the parts.
Their window's going to close shut.
And if the Rams lose, they might fall out of the number one NFC seed. They might have to go on the road in the playoffs. I don't think they want to go to Seattle or Lambeau. I don't think they do. So I am thinking that game, actually, there's more at stake in that game than in the Bills game.
I got one game that you didn't mention. Well, first of all, the game I'm most intrigued with is my own game, is the Bears hosting the Browns. And Myles Garrett, is he going to get like 4 sacks? I hope not. Break the record. He could break the record this weekend with a Buffalo performance, and he can because he's Myles Garrett. But the game, other than that, is the Cheeseheads in Denver. I mean, Denver has won something like 14 straight games at home.
Is that right?
The Cheeseheads go in there talking about Love being an MVP candidate. They go in riding high, sort of, after beating the Bears, but at home last week. And if they win this game, if they beat the team that is right there challenging for the 1 seed in the AFC with a couple of weeks to go, the Packers have every reason to be chesty. So I'm certainly rooting against them because the Bears could be back in the number 1 seed if Detroit and Denver win their games and the Bears win theirs. So there's a lot going on with that division. My eyes are on that division
and I understand
first and foremost.
And neither of us have mentioned Kansas City.
Because they're done.
But that's it. If they lose, I believe they're mathematically eliminated.
Yeah, but they're done anyway.
Can you imagine the playoffs without Patrick Mahomes, given what we've seen the last 8 years?
8, 9.
Right? Really? Let's turn to the Heisman Trophy. As we know, the 4 finalists who will be in New York tomorrow night for the presentation are Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame, and Julian Sayin of Ohio State. That's 3 quarterbacks and a running back. Wilbon, Mendoza is the odds-on favorite to win. In your mind, is he a lock?
Close to it, yeah. Yeah, it's easy for me to root for a kid from Vanderbilt because I root for Vanderbilt anyway. And it would be great, but I know that these straw polls have appeared to think that this suggests that it's going to be close. I don't know that it's going to be all that close. It just seems to me, and I used to vote. I voted for Heisman Trophy for 20 years. I helped select the voters for a few years. I just think Mendoza, Tony, he's the guy who's the quarterback of the only undefeated team.
Yeah.
So I got no problem with any of them. I'm just going to say this, and I don't have my glasses, but I think I can read this. This is not like in 1982 when Elway, Herschel Walker, and Eric Dickerson were 3 finalists. And in 81, the previous year, just 1 year earlier, when Marcus Allen, who else was in this? McMahon, Herschel, and Dan Marino.
Who you've called just a passer.
No, the greatest passer. Not the greatest quarterback. Not even in this discussion to me. Passing and quarterback are different things. Yeah. Those years stand alone. This is not that. It is, right?
I would say that most people in America had not heard of all 4 of these people going into this
until
year.
like week 6, maybe.
So, but I would vote for Mendoza. I'm going to go back to a few weeks back when Indiana made that great comeback at Penn State. Yeah. When that kid made the most spectacular catch at the back of the end zone. And the next time we were on this show, I sat here and I said to you, that looked like a Heisman moment for Mendoza.
Yeah.
Like, let's look at Indiana's had a life-changing season. As you say, they're the only unbeaten team. They beat Ohio State for the first time since 1988. I want to get these dates right. They won the Big Ten outright for the first time since 1945. No, 1945.
67 was a
and they have a playoff game in the Rose Bowl, I believe. It'll be their first time in the Rose Bowl since 1968. So to me, you reward Signetti, you make him coach of the year, and you reward Mendoza by giving him the Heisman. Pavia, the case I would make, he's got more passing yards than Mendoza in one fewer game, and Vanderbilt's not a football factory.
Had
It's
a historic season itself.
Vanderbilt. Just like Indiana.
Yes.
And I could make a case for Jeremiah Love because he's got 21 touchdowns in 12
Jeremiah Love
games.
had
I know
a great
you hate
season.
Notre Dame,
I don't hate
but
him.
he may be better at his position than the quarterbacks.
He had a great season.
I can't make a case for the Ohio State kid at this point. I can't, but those three I certainly could.
Well, they lost one game. Ohio State was in there.
Yeah, but they lost to Indiana.
End.
I mean, I think that affects voting.
Yeah,
Let's take a break. When we return, Lane Kiffin and LSU open SEC play with a trip to Ole Miss next season. What's the word for that?
And what's the best way to describe 41-year-old Lindsey Vohn's win in the downhill today?
You know, the easy line on the Ohio State quarterback is, I'm just saying. But I wouldn't use that.
There's somebody should have named him Justin. Or
Julian,
it could be, I know, if they named him Justin, it could be just saying.
Oh.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Welcome back to Pardon the Interruption, presented by Grey Goose, part of Happy Hour.
It's time to have words with Will Bond. What's first?
It's blank that LSU will travel to Ole Miss to open conference play next season.
It is spectacular. It almost feels like the SEC arranged this because they did.
Yeah.
Because they did. The date will be September 19th. It's going to get the highest rating that any Mississippi game has ever had, unless in the next 2 weeks, Lane Kiffin leaves LSU and goes to Alabama. Right? That's the only thing that would make it bad. Look, these two teams play every single year. They are permanent opponents, right? The SEC could have done this in October, could have done it in November, but then the drama of it is dissipated by then. This way, you get the narrative straight out, and it's all about Lane Kiffin, Kiffin. And if you think you have heard boos before, get a ticket to this game because the noise in Oxford will be so loud that it could waken William Faulkner if that's where he's buried.
I think he's buried there, right? And because of all those things you said, it's perfect.
Yeah, it is.
That's my word. It can't get any better. This is the way you need or you want a game of some significance. We can't know what the standings will be. They won't have started the CFP ratings, rankings won't be out yet.
No.
So you put Lane Kiffin, you know what, Tony? That will be the most emotional game in the modern history, I guess, of Ole Miss football.
Ole Miss, I would think.
I mean, Archie's been a while.
I would think so.
So this has got to be.
Eli went there, but it's not.
Yeah, but Eli, I don't even remember any games that Eli was there.
It's not this. It's Kiffin.
This is so good. And so let's give the SEC credit.
Yeah.
I take a shot at conferences when they do the wrong
They're not
things.
playing the Citadel in this one. They're playing each other.
No, this is what should happen. And by the way, they're going to play each other in a string of times, apparently. So we'll see how old Lane Kiffin's around. Yeah, but you have to group them so they play X number of years because there's so many teams in these conferences now. They're all super conferences. You can't just play the same team every year.
No, I agree. But this is good for the SEC.
Yes, it is great
good
for the SEC.
What's next?
Lindsey Vohn's win in the downhill today was blank.
My word is Rivers-like. Lindsey Vonn is 41 years old. She has been out of skiing for 5 years. That is not dissimilar to Phillip Rivers. In fact, Mike, 41 in skiing may be older than 44 in football. I'm not sure one way or another.
Started at 17.
Here's what Rivers can do. Rivers can throw the ball away. Rivers can take a knee. Rivers can hand the ball off. Here's what Lindsey Vonn can do. She can go straight down the mountain because that's how you get home. That's why it is called the downhill at this point. If she's trying out for the Olympics in Cortina on a course that I believe she has 12 wins on, and this win she had today, her first win since 2018, let's see Rivers do that.
Yeah, Tony, look, I agree. And to do it, my word is bionic.
Okay.
She's got like titanium knees and stuff.
Got titanium
I mean,
knees.
she's got, look, Lindsey Vonn, the nerve, the guts that it takes, the actual courage is amazing. But she wouldn't have been able to do this stuff 20 years ago because science and technology
Right.
wouldn't have allowed it, but it does now.
Right.
And so she can do
They're
this.
the craziest people in the world.
It's
Downhill-
unbelievable.
Downhill
Okay,
racers. Come on.
just
Get out.
inside baseball. You and I have gone to these places that they're named, and we have watched and stood at the bottom of the hill, top and bottom. What frightens you more than watching downhill?
Nothing. They appear to be going 400 miles an hour on a solid sheet of ice, and then every once in a while they fall off the mountain.
Completely off.
They're into space.
Yeah.
They're launched.
And they tend
Franz
to just
Klammer.
get up and walk off, and you can't believe it. So we have done this. Television does not convey.
No, we haven't done it. We've watched it. We haven't done it.
You're doing this.
Yeah, doing
But
this.
it's not like golf. You can't go to your favorite course and go down like they do.
No.
Good for Lindsey.
These people are crazy.
Bionic.
That's the final word. Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Clippers forget how to inbound the ball at a critical juncture.
He's standing right there. And whose weekend return from injury would be bigger, Steph's or Wemby's?
Well, Wemby's would be taller. We're certain of that. I don't know which would be bigger necessarily.
I tell you what, San Antonio pretty good without him.
What are you saying?
Nothing.
No.
They're gonna be great with him.
No.
But they're pretty good with it. They, like 16-7 or something like that.
Pardon the Interruption is presented by Grey Goose. Make time wait. Please enjoy responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Happy time, people. Happy 29th birthday, Christopher Sanchez. The Phillies lefty was 13-5 with a 2.50 ERA over 32 starts this past season. He struck out 212 batters in 202 innings. As a result, he finished second in NL Cy Young voting to unanimous winner Paul Skeens. Sanchez was an All-Star in 2024, but not this season, which was controversial at the time.
Should have been.
And the Phillies gave Sanchez his All-Star bonus anyway. Sanchez has been with the Phillies all 5 of his major league seasons after being traded there by Tampa Bay. Overall, Sanchez is 30-21 with a 3.24 ERA. He led the majors in wins above replacement, WAR, for pitchers this season. His 8.0 edging Skeens is 7.7.
There are a lot of throwers out there. When I watch Sanchez,
Pitcher.
it's a pitcher.
Pitcher.
Stylish pitcher. And good for the Phillies for giving him his bonus anyway, because he should have been an All-Star.
Yeah, he had great numbers
Great
going into the
season.
All-Star.
Absolutely.
Happy anniversary, Gale Sayers. This is posthumous, but on this day 60 years ago, as a rookie out of Kansas, the Bears running back scored 6 touchdowns as the Bears throttled the 49ers 61-20 on a rainy, muddy track in Wrigley Field. Sayers scored 4 touchdowns rushing, 1 receiving, and 1 on an 85-yard punt return. Chicago scored 3 non-Sayers touchdowns, the best of which was a fancy one-handed 29-yard catch by tight end Mike Ditka.
Coach Ditka.
6 remains the NFL records for touchdowns in one game. The first person to do it was Dub Jones of the Browns in 1951, then Sayers, then Alvin Kamara, did I say that right? Kamara, of the Saints on a Christmas Day beatdown of the Vikings in 2020. Wilbon, I'm told you're from Chicago. Have you ever heard of Sayers and Ditka?
I want to thank you for being at a golf tournament and telling Mr. Sayers that he's my hero.
Yeah.
And after
You
that,
have a lot of heroes.
I got to meet him, be around him.
Yeah.
It was spectacular. I was in awe. And by the way, the coolest thing about walking into Wrigley Field, not only do you walk into a place where Ruth played and Banks and Williams and all these, but you also walk in there, Sayers and Butkus and Ditka and Red Grange played there as well. No building like it.
But it's bothersome that
What?
Sayers and Butkus didn't play playoff
Never
games.
played a playoff game. No.
Happy trails to last night's game for the Clippers. LA lost again last night, this time to the Rockets. The Clippers had the ball and a chance to tie with fewer than 9 seconds left when they temporarily forgot to inbound the ball. Nicholas Batum finally tried but stepped over the line, turning the ball back over to the Rockets. You know who would have come back for that ball? Chris Paul.
Amen.
Can't blame him for this one.
No.
The Clippers, who stink, have lost 8 out of 9 and are now 6-19.
This is sort of shocking. I know they're all old, and I know, you're sort of walking a real fine line here. But it seems like they had everything if they could get out on the court. Even when they're out there, they're bad. They're going to have to forget about this, blow it up, start over.
There is something when a team has aged, not when it is aging,
Yeah,
when
when
it
it's gone over
has
the cliff.
aged. And you say to yourself, this group is not coming back to win.
It's a waste of
A
time.
lot was written in this city about the Washington defense this year, that they had aged.
Yeah.
And if you look at the numbers,
They
they're
have.
ineffective. They're
They
ineffective.
can't win either.
Let's go to the big finish if we could.
Let's do
TJ
it.
Watt Released from the hospital after successful surgery on a partially collapsed lung. Your thoughts?
I hope he's okay. And apparently Mike Tomlin has said, don't even think about playing on Sunday. You know, football players will walk out of a hospital and try to play.
Can't play.
Can't play. Bill Belichick fired his offensive coordinator and his special teams coach. Does that make sense?
Let me tell you what it says to me. It says to me that Bill Belichick is going to come back
Yes,
next
of
year and
course
try
he's
it
coming
again.
back.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean, he said, no,
Got
this
to.
is not going to work.
Got to.
Steph Curry returns tonight for the Warriors. Victor Wembanyama expected to do the same for the Spurs tomorrow, which is a bigger deal.
They're both a big deal. But Wembanyama's Spurs are 17-7. When he comes back, they're going to be great. Steph Curry, the Warriors are only 13-12. They got to have him. They need Steph now. Bigger deal. The Oilers traded goalie Stuart Skinner to the Penguins for goalie Tristan Jarry. Break it down.
I really like the idea of a goalie for goalie trade. I really like the notion that just the new scenery will make them
Are they
better.
blaming Skinner in Edmonton?
It sounds
Feels like it.
Last one, Army-Navy game tomorrow. Who you got?
Navy's 9-2. A 9-2 season.
We got this right here.
Midshipmen won last year.
Army-Navy. That's the helmet.
I got to think the midshipmen are going to win again.
We're out of time. We'll try to do better the next time. Kevin Callahan, Monmouth Football. Shout out.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Have a great weekend, knuckleheads. And now, here's SportsCenter.
Army-Navy.
15. Here's Tony and Mike with PTI's bonus topic.
All right, Wilbon, which Week 15 matchup is the most intriguing?
We're going to skip over my personal matchup of Bears hosting Browns.
You don't have to skip over that if that's what you think.
I mean, you know, there's a guy in that game who could break the sack record. I hope he doesn't break it in that game, Myles Garrett.
By burying Caleb Williams
Yeah,
three
exactly.
or 4 times. Yeah.
So we're going to skip right over that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, Tony, west to Denver, where at the Mile High location, they'll be hosting the Cheeseheads. Packers at Denver. That could be a Super Bowl preview. I hope not. But that game's also got consequence. Those teams are battling also, not just in their conferences, but they're battling for one seed in their conference, each one of them. So that's my game.
This is a question of personal preference and taste.
Yes, yes.
If I'm going to be honest, the game that intrigues me most is the game between Seattle and the Colts. Because it's hard for me to believe that a 44-year-old grandfather is going to walk out on that field in an NFL game. If he does, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it like I'm watching a horror movie with my hands over
Stay
my
out of the
eyes.
blue tent.
But I'm going to watch it. And I don't think it's the most important game. My judgment on the most important game, I think I'm going to land on the Rams and the Lions. You know, because
That's huge.
if the Lions lose this game, I think they're unlikely to make the
That's their
playoffs.
sixth loss if
And
they
I
lose.
like the Lions. I mean, I've looked at the Lions the last 3 years and thought they are an emerging
Window
powerhouse.
closing,
You know,
if they lose this
think-
and are reduced.
I don't know that. You know, I'm not going to look forward, but I'm going to say that it would be disappointing because to me, the Lions, it looks like the whole is less than the sum of their parts because they got great players.
Yeah.
If the Rams lose, they are in danger of losing the number 1 seed in the NFC and having to go on the road in the playoffs. And I don't think a team from Southern California wants to go to Lambeau or Seattle. I just don't. I don't think they want to do that. So the consequences of this game strike me as greater than the other games.
There's some games, not just that have
And we haven't
injury, but
mentioned
are
Buffalo,
of
New England.
consequence.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, New England is certainly
Yeah.
of consequence. That's it. We're done. We're of consequence. Back to you.
We are unconsequential.
No.
We are. And old.